a night of the puppets. In the small, forgotten town of Raven's End, there was a shop tucked away in a shadowy alley. Its sign, faded and cracked, read Ezekiel's Oddities. The shop was filled with strange relics, cursed trinkets, and, most notably, a collection of antique puppets. These puppets were no ordinary toys. They were carved with unsettling precision, their glassy eyes seeming to follow as you moved. The shopkeeper, an old man with a hunched back and a voice like gravel, would warn anyone who lingered too long. Some things are better left untouched, but warnings are meant to be ignored. The curious buyer, Elliot, was a struggling artist with a fascination for the macabre. When he stumbled upon Ezekiel's Oddities, he was immediately drawn to the puppets. There were 6 of them, each more grotesque than the last. A hulking brute with rusted nails for teeth, a porcelain ballerina with a cracked face, a jester with a jagged grin, a surgeon holding blood-stained tools, a witch with hollow eyes, and a child with a stitched-up mouth. The shopkeeper eyed Elliot warily. "These are not for sale," he gasped. But Elliot, desperate for inspiration, offered a hefty sum. Reluctantly, the old man agreed, handing over the puppets with a final warning. "Do not wake them." The first night, Elliot placed the puppets on a shelf in his studio, admiring their craftsmanship. That night, he awoke to the sound of faint whispers. He followed the noise to his studio, where he found the puppets arranged in a circle, their heads tilted as if in conversation. Before he could react, the lights flickered, and the puppets turned to face him. The ballerina was the first to move. Her delicate hands twisted into claws as she lunged at Elliot, slicing his arm with a jagged shard of porcelain. Blood sprayed across the room as the jester cackled, its voice a high-pitched screech. The surgeon followed, its scalpel glinting in the moonlight as it carved into Elliot's leg. He screamed, but the child puppet silenced him, its stitched mouth unraveling to reveal rows of needle-like teeth. The strings of control. Elliot managed to escape, but the puppets weren't done with him. They hunted him through the house, their movements jerky yet unnervingly precise. The brute smashed through doors, its nail-studded mouth dripping with saliva. The witch chanted in a language Elliot couldn't understand, her hollow eyes glowing with an otherworldly light. He realized too late that the puppets were not just alive. They were controlled by something far more sinister, thin, almost invisible. Strings extended from their bodies, leading up into the shadows of the sea. Something was pulling the strings, something that watched from the darkness with a malevolent grin. The master revealed. Elliot's final stand came in the attic. Cornered and bleeding, he grabbed a pair of scissors and severed the strings connecting the puppets. For a moment, they fell lifeless to the floor. But then the shadows stirred, and a figure emerged, a puppet unlike the others. It was tall and skeletal, its face a blank mask except for 2 glowing eyes. This was the marionette Small, the entity that had been controlling the others all along. It spoke in a voice that ended with the scream of silence. They are not. The marionette's maw plunged its needle-like fingers into his chest, weaving strings into his flesh. He felt his body stiffen, his limbs moving against his will. The last thing he saw was his own hands reaching for the scissors, guided by the marionette's will. A new collection. The next morning, Ezekiel's Oddities reopened. The shopkeeper placed a new puppet on the shelf, a lifelike figure of a man with wide, terrified eyes. The other puppets surrounded it, their glassy stares fixed on the newest addition to their collection. And in the shadows, the marionette's maw watched, its strings stretching out to ensnare the next